Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Tabletop Tap Room and Star Frontiers Gamer with another Fanzine Friday number 54, which means we are reviewing Frontier Explorer number 29. But before we get to that, let me just say thank you for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. And if you have not subscribed, please do hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. Maybe leave a comment in the comments below. And thank you again for watching. So moving right along, we have issue 29 from summer of 2020. Fun cover here. I love this view of the Frontier. You know, a downtown Port Lauren or, you know, downtown Maze or city on Cassidy in the Cassidine system with an open air car whizzing through the city. And this Yazarian's got this human by the neck and they're fighting over a gun in this air car. You just know somebody's going to go flying out of this air car over the city and it's going to end badly. So that's what I like about this cover. Fun cover. So the features in this issue are the Pah'Thas Hull Size 4 Freighter. This is actually a really cool deck plan I'm in favor of. And looking at dropped weapons, and we should also scan down to page 40, more bombs, targeting, and aerial drop systems. Again, this is part of the Things That Go Boom series that Joseph is doing for us. And we have the Battle of Zebulon, which actually is the Battle of Zebulon that is at the end of the Volturnus series of modules, the Volturnus campaign. The Inertia Umbrella, we extrapolate some new applications of technology that's already in the equipment list. And Electrochemical slug throwers or sluggers, an alternate system of projectile weapons for the Frontier. Titan Rising and the Escape Run comic, as well as a review of the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide and Jurek Hangna's Percival's Legacy. Also in that Jurek Hangna Ecology of article, there is a full index at the back of all of the Jurek Hangna articles and all of the creatures and, you know, what planets they're from. So that's there as a reference for you as well. Let's go right to the freighter. Look at this freighter. And so not often we get a nice external view, you know, with a deck plan. I love when we do. This is a great one. My only criticism here is them some small landing gear for the bulk that is that ship. But if that's my only thing to gripe about, you know, shut up, Tom. This is a great deck plan. You get a great deck plan. It's classic Nighthawk style. It's very thorough. I mean, look down here. In fact, let's blow this up so you can see it on screen a little bit better. Here in the bottom deck, the machine shop. Number 2. What is number 2? It's ship's laundry. And there's a bathroom in there. So it's like a lot of details were thought about for this ship. I love it. This actually, you can see that it would print out on 2 pieces of paper. Front and back on one, and then one side of the second piece of paper. So this is very handy. You can print this out, staple it, give it to the players. This is an excellent ship for the player characters to use. And let's face it, that is cool looking. I love the alien script painted on the outside, and you know, it's, you know, this little symbol. So this is very much a civilian ship, privately owned. I really love the feel of this particular ship. Next up is Things That Go Boom. Now, these are really thorough articles, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on them. But again, this is part of that Things That Go Boom series, and you've got blast radius diagrams and charts. Joe was super, super thorough, and you know, better being thorough than not being thorough enough. Just absolutely massive article here on bombs. Then we get into the Battle of Zebulon, written by Tom Stevens. I always write it when Tom. I love it when Tom writes articles, and he did a lot of Nighthawks material. So this is a Nighthawks, an examination of the battle for Zebulon, because it talks at the back at the end of the Star Spawn of Volturnus module about the battle fleet showing up from Truane Star, and it doesn't give you any details about that. So this here, he asked the question, how many ships would be involved? How many Sathar ships would show up to carry the number of troops that are detailed? He puts a little plug in here for the Sathar technical Sathar Destroyer Technical Manual. This is available on the Frontier Explorer website, and it's available, I do believe, on drive-thru, and I will put a link in the show notes. If you don't have this, this is a whole technical manual on a Sathar Destroyer, which is a hull size 6 ship, and that's a pretty big deck plan for Star Frontier. So this is a great resource that you want to have in your library. There's an examination of what the UPF contingent would be, whether or not Streel would be sending any of its mercenary privateers along for this scenario. And then you get the battle set up. And he also play tested it. And I love this particular artwork at the end here. This is great artwork. This probably, if we hadn't used it for interior art, we probably could have used this for the cover art. This is absolutely fabulous, and I love it. Then Percival's Legacy. This is Jurek Hangna's, the Alien Biologist series that Eric Windsor writes, and it's our, ecology of article. You get some fiction, you get some examination of a creature, plot hooks and so on and so forth, as well as the stats. And this creature was created for New Pale, and I had forgotten that it had been published separately. This was part of the files I lost when I was prepping the whole New Pale material for the issue 27 of the Star Frontiersman Volume 2. And I could not locate this creature, so I did not include it in the article. I'd forgotten that it had been here, it had been published here. And so I did not include it in the comprehensive brief on New Pale. So that material is coming out here in the most recent issue of the Star Frontiersman. This should have been included, at least the stat block and a little write-up. I could not locate it. It was part of the files that had gone missing from my computer. So this is here in this issue, and here is the index of all of the Jurek Hangna articles, the alien biologists traveling around the frontier and interacting with frontier wildlife. Then we get into Titan Rising comic from AZ Gamer, and then the Inertia Umbrella. This is my in the Minzy Marketplace series of articles, and so you get a little fiction here about a guy on a shuttle flight, and they had the, on airplanes, you get that magazine in the seat back, and it's the in-flight magazine, and they're trying to sell you stuff. Well, I kind of hypothesized that the seat backs on a shuttle would have a little screen, and it would be doing infomercials, and so the in-flight magazine would actually be infomercials unless you paid to see a movie. But shuttle flights are generally short, so you don't bother with it. You just kind of tune out the infomercial. And something in the infomercial catches the guy's interest, and it's this Inertia Umbrella. Now, the Inertia Umbrella is an extrapolation. It's a new application of the inertia screen technology. And, I started asking questions. So if the inertia screen stops bullets, what if you're wearing an inertia screen and it starts raining? Does it stop you from getting wet? Right? It's an interesting question. And so I thought about it. I says, bullets do pass through the inertia screen, but their force is cut in half. Raindrops don't have a lot of inertia. So I would think that an inertia screen would actually completely deflect raindrops, and that would lead to an application of this technology of an inertia umbrella, that you could have an inertia umbrella to, keep rain off you as you're walking. And I thought that this would be something that would get developed within the setting. And that's, well, all right. So you've got this little stick umbrella that does an inertia umbrella. You could use it as a shield in combat, but clearly it's not as powerful as a full up defensive screen. So it has some limitations, and we wrote that into this. It also has the limitation that if you have an inertia screen and you activate an inertia umbrella, you're probably going to burn out one or both of those technologies. I also extrapolated that buildings with a courtyard with it open to the sky might use this inertia technology to deflect rain, so you could have an open courtyard, and even though it's raining, the inertia umbrella is deflecting the rain. But what if, say, somebody jumped off a building and they're headed towards the ground, and they pass through one of these inertia umbrella things that are just there to prevent the rain from coming through? And I even included in here a rule that when you calculate their damage from falling, and they've passed through one of these umbrella screens, that it'll take away 1d10 of damage from the damage calculation. So an interesting extra little thing that you could include in the adventure. And so you get these new technologies and new items were included. Next up is and look at this artwork. I love this Versk with the big old rifle. I mean, that is just dramatic looking. This is the Electrochemical Sluggers, alternate frontier weaponry by Richard Ferris. Gray Mist. His handle is Gray Mist on some of the social media platforms. And super thorough article. And hey, buddy, you need to write some more for me. and I noted in my brain in the last Fanzine Friday, there was this ad for Frontier Space module called Gremlins. And I didn't comment on it then, and so I'm going to comment on it here. By the way, Frontier Space adventure called Gremlins on drive-thru, so you can look that up. Frontier Space is an homage rule set to Star Frontiers. Not quite the same, a little more involved, a little more thick. In fact, where are my books? Somewhere here. There is a whole referee's handbook, hardcover, and then there's a whole player's handbook about the same thickness, about the same size, hardcover as well. And so it's a little bit more involved than a 48-page rule book like Alphadon. Although technically Alphadon's not that 48-page small size, because it's actually Alphadon and Nighthawks, which would add up to a bigger tome. But still, you have an adventure here. I've not reviewed it. I have not purchased it, and I've not reviewed it. Maybe I need to rectify that and do a review on this probably sometime soon. Especially let me know in the comments if you're interested. I will get right on that. So then we get a book review for the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory. Now take a look at this cover. I looked at this cover. I see castle, I see dragon, I see sword and shield, which is, fine, because, a lot of RPG is fantasy. But I also see a planetoid and a rocket ship. And I see a system schematic for a star system there. So I saw this and I says, oh, I'm going to buy this. I bought this. And you know what I found out? It totally ignores sci-fi. The cover makes you think, oh, this is going to be really handy for fantasy, sci-fi. I would have interpreted the Viking longship as historical. Any sorts of RPG gaming, it totally caters to fantasy. It's totally geared to fantasy. But the cover kind of sucks you in and sells you a bill of goods that makes you think one thing, and that ain't the case. That said, I did like the book. This is not for writing a 7-page backstory to your character. All right, this is not what this is trying to do, but this is trying to give you a little something, develop a little bit of a backstory for your character. If you struggle with that, it's a lot of prompts. It's a lot of prompts and ideas to get, a lot of writing prompts to get you going to write a little something. And so I did, even though I was disappointed, no sci-fi, totally catered to fantasy. I was disappointed by that, felt let down. It still is a good document. You can completely adapt it to whatever game you're using. And then more things that go boom, and our back cover comic, The Escape Plan. Well, there you have it. Frontier Explorer number 29, summer of 2020. And I want to say thank you for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in the Frontier Space module Gremlins. It's I totally don't know why. If there was anybody who should have bought it and reviewed it, it's me. I don't know why I've never bought it. But we did run an ad in the magazine, so but go ahead and leave a comment if you're interested in that. We'll get that done. And I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the Frontier.